Yeah, I know. Bitcoin has been confusing. I mean, we pumped above the $30,000 level. We've retraced back down. What the hell is actually going on? Don't worry about it. I've got your back. I am here to demystify everything here for you in this market. And the first thing really that I want to start off with in this YouTube video is acknowledging that we have actually had, since we've gotten above the $30,000 level, a very good amount of consolidation. And that is the first thing you want to see. If the market is breaking a high and then consolidating instead of immediately just getting sent right back down, that is a really good first sign to tell us that actually this thing might have a little bit of strength. But here's where the problems are. The problems on this chart basically revolve around the fact that we haven't had a good enough chance to establish support at this range. See, previously we found a little bit of support, and if we actually just measure it, we lasted above this range more or less for about 8 days. So let's not feel like we're special right now, ladies and gents. We've been up here for 5 days. Yes, we have cleared the high by 1%. This is good. And look, I'm in my long position. I want to be bullish about this. I want to tell you the reasons we're going to be going up, and I certainly believe that there's a very good number of reasons that we are going to continue to go up. But at the very same time, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but at the very same time, we must keep in mind that we've actually been in this position before and it didn't end well for Bitcoin. The problem here is that we haven't had a good enough chance to establish support at the $30,000 level, which is making this entire price range very fragile. Let me give you another way to visualize this just so you can really understand where I'm getting at here with this analysis I'm sharing with you guys today. Let me find a naked chart here, something that's a little bit easier to work with. This is a pretty good chart to work with here. And what I want to do is draw your attention over to the hourly 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚. This is a really good gauge of the strength that the trend has. If we take a look at the 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 on the hourly time frame previously, it's very useful when the market is trending. Here is a good example from here up to here. Market was trending, but we didn't actually find support off the 1 hour 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚. And the next thing we did is we set the low over here, and then we swept that low, and then when we moved up a little bit, we swept that low again. The market was very clearly bearish, and one of the warning signs it was firing off was that we weren't responding to this short-term sign of support. Now, that doesn't have to be catastrophic, but at a price level like here, it does tell us a lot, and it tells us things that we already know as well. We're not getting that bounce yet. If you look at how some of the bounces have come off the 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚s in the past, it's been really nice. If you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙 support is still really far away. But to give you a point of reference, on the daily time frame, we've bounced off of support really well. Now, granted, we did fall out of it by like 2%, but that's completely fine by me. It really doesn't matter. The overall point here is very clear, is that we have bounced out of this 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 for another bullish setup here, and that shows us what a healthy response to the 𝗖𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 is. The 1 hour time frame really sheds a lot of light on this in my view, guys, and it does show us that this market is pretty weak. And how do we actually establish good support at levels like 30K? That is a very important question to be asking right now, because once you know this, you'll know that we haven't done it. The best way we can actually establish support in a particular price range is by moving away from it. So I'm going to give you a really good example, right? When Bitcoin actually pumped above $25,000, which is, I don't know why my Wi-Fi is so crap today. When Bitcoin pumped above $25,000, which was this yellow line, we did something really important. Bitcoin got far away from this support level. Not only did it get far away with price, but it also got far away with time. 28 days to the high, and then a further 90 days basically, or I should say a further 65 days or whatever, until we got actually back down to this level. So that is one of the best predictors in my experience of if a support level is going to be useful. Number one is if you move far away from it with price, and number two is if you move far away from it with time. The more distance you have from a level up to a point, I want to make this really clear, right? If the only interaction that we had at the 25K level wasn't here, but instead was like 2 years ago, this wouldn't really be the case. So this is up to a point. If it's recent but not too recent, if it's far away but not too far away, there's a little bit, you gotta finesse this a little bit, ladies and gents. It's not going to be as simple as we want it to, but it's also fairly intuitive. It's very fair to say that 90 days is a very acceptable time frame to expect support, but 3 years, maybe not. 2 minutes, maybe not, right? We're just applying common sense here. I think you and I are on the same page here, and that this does make a lot of sense. And so, we were able to do that incredibly well over here, and that's why we found support here so well. Obviously, we had many, many other reasons to expect support here, not least the fact that all the idiots were saying that we wouldn't find support there. But of course, we're not going to go into that one yet. I'm not going to be ripping into you guys just yet. Not you guys, of course, but those people right there. And the point is that we haven't been able to do this yet. If we look at this $30,000 $30,000 level right here and drop another line just kind of representing this price range. I mean, you know, look, we did get above it, but by how many percentage points and for how long? I mean, you know, it's just not the same level of significance that we had with a level like the 25K area. And that is my primary concern with this chart. And it is the primary thing that is actually kind of bugging me a little bit. But this doesn't have to be bad. I'm going to show you why a little bit later on in the video. I actually think that there's a lot of amazing opportunities that are available in this market to be taken advantage of right now. I've actually filled VIP members in on one of them with Ethereum, which I'm super excited about as well. I do want to highlight to you guys that if you are interested in trading these markets, the links in the description will give you over $100,000 in bonuses. OKX's bonus ends in 4 days. They're going to be giving you up to 60K in rewards, which is the highest reward I've ever seen on an exchange. And BingX also allows you to trade all of these markets that I'm talking about, plus stocks, all on leverage. Bitcoin is the only deposit you need to make, and you can trade all of these markets without KYC, without a picture of yourself or a picture of your ID. Incredibly valuable proposition there for those of you that are a little bit more privacy minded. And Bybit up to 30K. When you deposit and start trading using my link, up to 30K in free cash. More on that later, but huge offers. Don't pass them up. This is, I mean, you should have had them already, but if you haven't already, it's obviously never too late. Here's the thing, is that we haven't been able to establish that support yet, and that's what's causing some of the problems here in this market. But the reason that I'm not too worried about it is that if we do just kind of look at some of our key indicators here that I love to look at, namely for me, it's going to be the Ichimoku cloud. We haven't actually come down to find, you know, good support yet. And this is the thing that's really important, right? Is when the price just blasted above the 25K level, we moved 16% above within 6 days, and then we came back down to the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud for an 8% pullback. So if we do see something like that right now, 7% puts us into the Ichimoku cloud. It's very reasonable to say that we can form some sort of pullback like this. And we just kind of tapped the cloud. That was it. We just tapped the cloud and that was it. Bam, tapping, and then blowing up, right? And so, you know, it's very doable for the market to pull off something like that again. And one of the things that I do like is that this range we're finding some support in right now is good. I mean, there is certainly some substance over here. You know, there's certainly something that you can expect as far as support goes in this range. And I'm just going to go ahead and do us all a favor and draw this with a box instead of with a line, because these are not exact levels. These are just ranges, and that's what's really important to keep in mind. Now, I'm trying to say the numbers. Obviously, I know that many of you are watching this on your mobile. Sometimes I forget. Okay, I'm presenting, I'm thinking at the same time. It's hard, but 29.7 up to 30.3, you know, is a really nice range that represents a lot of this resistance and a lot of this support. And if we did, you know, just stretch this all the way back to 2021, 2022, we would see that not only did this have, you know, significance within the last few months, but also over the last few years, which is really nice to kind of build that picture for us. And it does show us that, look, if we hold this level, we're good. If we don't lose this level right here, we are in a pretty good position overall, I would say. And if this thing does end up slipping lower, there is still support to catch it as well. And that is also very reassuring to be keeping in mind as well. The 4-hour EMA ribbon, for example, if we do take a look at this, is right where we are right now. I mean, it's beautiful. The momentum is very firmly on our side. So there's also not a lot of cause to be worried, right? I mean, the primary thing that to me I don't like is that, you know, we haven't really set substantially higher highs here. We punched in a high right here, which didn't clear the previous high, and then the next one did clear the previous high. But again, like I said, if we just measure it, it was only up by 1%, right? If you measure it from this point, you know, up to here, we only got a percentage point higher. It's really just not that significant at all. You know, but at the very same time, while all of that is true, like I said, we're still at a support area. We're still in a bullish trend. You know, I mean, you can't really, you know, ask for a lot more than this, to be honest. I mean, you know, when you've had 2 months of shit, you know, where nothing had changed the entire time, it's the fucking catchphrase of this YouTube channel now, and then you just break out like this, you know, it's very fair to expect some problems, especially when you do just, again, you know, retain some perspective here. You know, if you do retain some perspective and, you know, just zoom out and really try and understand where this market is, you know, the kind of environment that we're in right now. I've got so many charts here, it's hard to keep track of them, but here's the one that I'm talking about, is with this thick yellow line, the line that represents, you know, Bitcoin's arguably most significant resistance area on this entire chart. It is fair that, you know, we might pause for a little bit. You know, one of the things that I've enjoyed showing you guys on this channel recently is the 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚𝗏 dashboard right here. And by the way, many of you guys have been asking about this for a while. I will have a news update for you on this relatively soon. I'm still developing it. I'm still making it amazing. I'm still just using it myself. I'm the only one that has it, actually, just myself and my team. But, you know, I mean, if we look at the ratings here, long and short ratio pretty much even on Binance Retail, but still majority short. Bybit also still majority short. Top traders, I feel like they know what's up. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm super fucking biased with my own position. By the way, this position was actually made on Bybit, so definitely do check that out if you want to trade on my favorite platform. I am still in my position, and I don't know, Binance top traders are doing the same thing too. Unfortunately, Bybit doesn't separate that data, so I can't tell you what Bybit top traders are doing. I'm sure, by the way, that if they did separate this data, they would beat the Binance traders. I don't know what it is, but I've said this for a while. I maintain my position. Bybit traders are just better than Binance traders. I don't know. I don't make the rules, whatever. Fear and greed index as well dropped down by quite a bit. I mean, if we take a look at the fear and greed index, we had a reading of 64 yesterday. Today, we are looking at a reading of 55, which is a beautiful, kind of dip down right here on the fear and greed index. I mean, nothing has changed. The price is basically at the same level it was before. We've fallen down by only a matter of a couple $100 or a few $100, whatever. It's really not a big deal, especially at these kind of very high price levels. And at the very same time, people have, this is a really, reliable source of information in my experience. You can just pause the video and, read the data sources right here and how they actually came up with this. But I mean, in my experience, this has been phenomenally reliable. And we have seen a really nice, kind of drop down just within a day. This is quite reassuring to tell me that, yeah, a lot of people aren't buying this. A lot of people are quite scared, and that makes sense. I can understand all of these reasons that, people would be concerned about the market, but at the same time, for me, I'm just grounding myself in understanding that, I mean, this is a phenomenally strong trend so far. We've had 2 phenomenal corrections. We've had the breakout already. Now we're just playing that breakout out. We've already swept the high. Yes, we've pulled back a little bit, but with everything that I'm seeing here, even if the market does pull back a little bit more, to me, it wouldn't be anything bigger than, something like this. I can't see it being something more significant than that. It might, right? I mean, one of the big things that's certainly very possible is the market just kind of trades sideways like this and then starts pumping towards the end of 2023 and the lead up to the halving in 2024. And that is, one of the ideas which I've spoken to you about on this channel already. If you're subscribed, you're going to know a little bit about that, but it's not something we want to talk about, right? I mean, it would kind of suck. I mean, as traders, this is actually a blessing. This makes your life really easy. You just, long the support, short the resistance. So it makes it really easy to make money. But, as people that have fucking ADHD and, just need to be, entertained by the markets, which, obviously is a lot of us, we want to see the price going up. And I understand that, but obviously, what we want and what reality is offering us might be different. And if we just ignore reality because of that, obviously that's grossly irresponsible and you will just keep on losing your money. So we're not doing that here. That's why this channel is rooted in realism and grounded exactly as much as we should be here. So, I'm liking what I'm seeing from that perspective. I don't think that Bitcoin is in a particularly bad position just from looking at that kind of stuff right now. I think that, where we are right now is a good place. I think that if we dip lower, yes, we've still got some really, really good support. For me, we can drop all the way down to, honestly, like this, kind of 27K range, and this would still be pretty bullish for Bitcoin as far as I'm concerned. I'm actually curious to see if there's any interesting Fibonacci levels up here. So the 618 level right here at 27.3 as well. 27.4 is very, very interesting. Certainly something that, I just wouldn't brush off, stuff like this particularly easily. I mean, if the market wants to come down and grab some blood and then come back up, that is very much welcome in my books. I mean, anything to give us a sustainable trend here. And, these kind of big corrections are exactly how we get these big moves up. So, we want to see, more corrections. We want to see these time-based corrections where nothing happens. We want to see the price-based corrections where the price actually drops. We want to see, the combination like we had over here, 60 days of time and minus 20%. So obviously pretty sharp, right? This was just, I would argue, just a time-based correction because it didn't really take that long. From our high to our low, it took about 2 weeks, whereas if you compare this, it took closer to, I can't do the math on that, but a lot of weeks. So, a very, very long time. 9 weeks it was over here and 2 weeks over here. Very, very big difference here. Definitely not something that you'd brush off lightly. And that shows us that sometimes the market needs to correct a little bit slower, and that's completely fine because, again, we look at the result. This is what we want to see. So I think when we retain this kind of realism, things aren't actually as scary. I understand that it's a little bit frustrating that we haven't moved up yet, but when you consider where this market actually is and where the support is, even if things start to go badly, and where the resistance is, I do want to remind you guys about the kind of targets that I've been looking at. I did cover this recently, so again, just double check that you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on this very time sensitive content. But if we do look at this on the daily time frame, just kind of zoom out a little bit to gain a sense of appreciation for this price range. One thing that we can see incredibly clearly, I think, is that when when the price has kind of traded in this zone, it's been very quick. I mean, it's snapped all the way up and all the way down and all the way up. I've shown you these examples many times. There's just not that much of this. There's just not that much of this going on. There's not that much of this, or this. It's just mainly these wicks. It's like quick down and up on the same day, down and up on the same day, down and up, within a few days, right? I mean, and that is just the language of this price range here. There have been exceptions like I've shown you here, but even these exceptions, we're down in 1 day and up in 3, we're down in 1 day, up in 2, and so that, this is kind of the same thing as well. I guess the only exception would be here. And even in this case, we're just all the way down and then all the way up. So that, even when you find exceptions, they still kind of prove my point here, and that is something which I think is quite interesting and exciting to be keeping in mind. I mean, that is dessert basically waiting for us as far as I'm concerned. And that is definitely something which I think could pop and really turn into something quite exciting. It's one of the reasons I'm really excited for the next trade that I've outlined. Obviously, this trade that I've been in has made me some fucking amazing profits, which I'm super happy with, and obviously made me well over 400% in gains as well. But what I'm much more excited about is the next position, because I do see that having basically the similar, actually probably more upside, to be honest. VIPs are going to know exactly what I am talking about, so you guys can jump inside by following these steps on screen if you haven't done so already. Just by following these links in the description, this will put you in a direct chat with me, where you can ask me any questions you have, and we can get you inside of the VIP group, and also the 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗜𝗔 course, which is my package I'm actually offering side by side with VIP for a lot of you guys for free. And this is where you're just learning all of the theory of everything I know about analysis and trading from A to Z. So this is the kind of thing which is kind of unsexy, but it really works. So it's not going to be for everybody, but if you are willing to put in the work, you'll be following in the footsteps of people that have done phenomenally well. So that is something to be assured of for sure. And yeah, with the links in the description down below, you have over $100,000 in bonuses. Just go do your bounty hunting, get your bonuses, and take your money off the exchanges. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care about it. I just want you guys to get the free money, the free rewards. You can deploy these. Oh my God, my English is not good today. You can deploy these into the market, and yeah, whatever you do with it is your business. But like I said, with the kind of bonuses that Bybit is offering up to 30k, that is any profits you generate are yours to withdraw, which is a phenomenal offer. And again, BingX, I can't stress this enough. The flexibility of these guys and the access to these markets. I mean, I've never seen this level of this kind of combination before. You can trade all of these other traditional finance markets in addition to crypto. That is a bit crazy. That is very cool indeed. So well worth checking that out with the links in the description down below as well. But with that, I really hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. If you have, hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the very next one. Cheers.